出落ちって冷凍みかん解凍してほんの数秒よ。
I wonder how that could have happened. Not you!
Frame. Freeze.
Continuing right from where we left off last week, the Mahou girls make contact with the girl who, according to them, looked like Kota and totally not like a certain adult alien girl. Granted, they did also nicely call back to her ability to de-age herself, including to that of a toddler, but again, yeah, no, as I'm pretty sure she didn't have butterflies for pupils, though do keep that in mind for later. Regardless, Liko did notice that Isle was seemingly talking about her, so they decided to take her with her to see the principal in the magical world. Thus, they used their usual method of traveling there, with Liko trying to buy 3 tickets, but as it turned out, kids ride for free. Thank God. I was about to say that their fares were just as bad as our bus fares. On the Turbo Train, they of course made some more callbacks, this time to probably one of the most memorable scenes from the second episode of the OG, though with some additional bear torture. Naturally, the most notable callback was that damn orange. Still, it was nice that they highlighted how Liko had given up on eating hard mandarins. However, this resulted in Mirai having an even more direct callback, which we already kind of saw in the first episode of the show. I mean, again, I kind of get where they're going with all of this, but if that had been the case, maybe not open the season with this flashback. Anyway, Mirai told Liko that she saw a dream of their first meeting, even though she had only kind of dazed off for a few seconds in real time. Eventually, they reached the magical world, and we were reintroduced to the principal and his little crystal ball, who thankfully wasn't having one of her mental breakdowns from working on Pop Team Epic. They also finally pointed out how she had different colored hair than Kota, saying that it was jade colored, which not exactly, though then again this is a franchise that seems to be allergic to the color green. Anyway, they also recollected Isle's warning and had to figure out when it was actually going to happen, which led to a cute and funny scene of Mofun trying to do some math. Though between this and the train scene, this poor bear has kind of got rough. Oh, well, how nice. He's giving you all time to get ready to watch this show. With that, the principal also asked them to watch over Kotoha Jr., which they already kind of were doing and looking like a certain other pair of lesbian magical girls. Also, take note of her playing in the flowers, as I think that'll also be significant later. In the shopping district, they decided to have a returning Francois and June design an outfit for the girl, which, based on the manga, I'm guessing they'll take influence from Coco Chanel. Well, no, they actually decided to just make her a magical school uniform for the sake of synchronicity with Mirai, who they also made an adult-sized outfit for her. Y'all are dealing with stuff that is far more dangerous than any of the dark arts in this show. Anyway, they also cutely did up her hair, and further hammer home this whole butterfly motif that again we'll talk about at the end. The girl also gave herself the name of Hisui, both based on the supposed color of her hair, and the second best girl from Tsukihime, Sachan is the best. Later, like most kids who watched the OG of the show, Hisui wanted a magic wand, which Liko denied her for safety reasons, and also to protect her own resale value. However, they could provide her with a flying broom, as long as someone was riding with her. Just make sure you're not riding with little Miss BUI over here. Though on that note, Mirai used some broom scraps to make a wooden wand, which she could play pretend with, whilst Mirai would actually cast the spells for her. Gee, I wonder if there'll come a time when she won't need her help, hint hint. Though interestingly, Gustav ended up offhandedly revealing that he was considering retirement. You better follow up with that dude, both for the show's own consistency, and so that we can have more than one geriatric in this franchise who keeps their promise. Meanwhile, Io, and the true mastermind of the show, decided to launch another attack, unrelated to his declaration, as they even pointed out, it was still really early. They created a monster out of, wait, are those? Oh, I get it. Io is a master builder. And yeah, this is the only Lego set I have. I really should get that Optimus Prime. It looks pretty awesome. Anyway, Lego Thundercracker was clearly after Hisui. Thus, Mirai tried to protect her after a rather superfluous stock animation of her just twirling her broom around. Yeah, time is kind of the essence, y'all. Anyway, this whole sequence did end up revealing that they did kind of eat into their animation budget last week, as some of the stuff here did look a little rough, with Mirai in particular looking off-model through much of it, but it also featured Thundercracker transforming into his jet form to chase them down, which was pretty awesome, in spite of the parts forming. Did I mention yet that I'm a giant Transformers geek? Anyway, the Maho girls eventually made enough space to transform themselves. This week, they went with the Ruby style, which, like the Pink Diamond transformation, got a remix for this season, though, unlike the Pink Diamond, it was significantly worse than its original. Like, even putting aside the fact that they lost a bit of Mofurun running up to the girls in the beginning, which why would you, this whole sequence felt really inconsistent. This is likely because, at least according to Sakuga Boru, it had way too many animators, leading to a lot of slowdowns and inconsistencies, while the original just had one of the GOATs in Nishiki Itooka doing one consistent sequence. Moreover, when they weren't losing the best parts of the sequence, they replaced the most iconic shots with far less impactful moments, like this pullout that makes their hair look a lot smaller, and most damningly of all, the poses at the end. Like, I like the idea of having a tracking shot between Mirai and Liko to really highlight their unity, but why do we have to lose these badass poses that also show a lot more of the fire effects? All around, and while I do appreciate the effort of doing a new sequence just for this show, it is a significant downgrade from the original. Ah, I see what you did there, Saito. I mean, Mofurun. Anyway, thankfully, the fight this week did kind of make up for it. Yeah, again, while they clearly couldn't do the Sakuga Fest that they did last week, they also did still have some good sequences with Thundercracker trying all kinds of different alt forms, though I'm pretty sure a Lego ball can't roll that well. It also, of course, tried to get Hisui, and I thought for sure that she's going to produce some sort of magic here, especially when I thought they were calling back to the first episode of the OG, but I guess that's a plot point for a little later. Thus, the Maho girl saved her, and at least the finisher held up better than the Henshin, as there was at least a little more consistency, and I did like the fluidity of some of these sequences more than even the original. With that, they were able to concentrate on Isle's declaration, with the principal wisely deciding to implement some security measures for Mirai, though I question some of his choices in bodyguards. Still, it wouldn't really matter, as his attacks were more mental than physical, as after Liko saw a dream like Mirai, in her case, a bit where she was studying how to travel to the no-magic world, Mirai seemingly saw a vision of the future with Hisui confronting Isle. Or maybe it wasn't a vision, but rather a memory. Yeah, since the episode pretty much ended there, let's actually talk about something that we've talked about a lot on this channel, really. The butterfly dream from the Shuang Za. Yeah, in case you ever wondered why butterflies are a common motif in stuff like Kirby, or hell, even other shows in this franchise that feature dreams, it's because of this particular parable. It basically poses the question of what exactly is reality or a dream? Did a man simply dream about being a butterfly? Or is he the butterfly dreaming about being a man? In the end, it's not really supposed to matter, as it's all part of the beliefs of Taoism. Still, it does play into the ideas of transformations, and more importantly for this show, the loss of memories when transitioning from dreams to reality. Of course, yes, Precure didn't really play around with this concept too much, and was more about evil corporations, but I wonder if that's the angle this show is going to go with. I think Isle might be messing around with both time and memories, and as a result, the Maho girls' memories, in particular some of the more significant ones like their first meeting, were likely at risk. Hell, judging by what Mirai saw at the end of this episode, maybe this isn't even their first go-around with him and Hisui. I mean, this certainly wouldn't be the first time Isao Murayama has played around with time loops that we, the audience, are unaware of. Time will tell, but for now, this is a pretty fun little episode. I mean, yeah, as we just went over, this does have a lot of interesting implications for future episodes, but on its own, it was just a charming little stroll down memory lane, mostly thanks to Hisui. Of course, even going down memory lane might be part of the whole time travel thing, but I think we've done enough philosophy for one video. Really, this whole episode, if you weren't counting how many times I used the word, was just one big callback between Hisui being Kotoha Jr. to, of course, everything from the train to seeing a bunch of the old friends return. Of course, this is all likely building to something later in the show, but on its own, it's still a fun little nostalgia trip. Granted, not all of it was as good as we remember, as I think they did a lot of unnecessary changes to the Ruby style transformation, and so far at least, Hisui isn't quite as cute as Hachan. I mean, don't get me wrong, she's fine, and her interactions with Mofurun are kind of funny, but she's also isn't that interesting, and does feel kind of more like a plot point so far. Still, and while I can't say much about an episode that was pretty much just a recap, this is still pretty fun with another good fight sequence with a pretty awesome monster. That said, can we kind of lay off the Mofurun torture? I mean, she's gone through enough dealing with her own legal battles to maintain her own license. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't seen our first review for the show, well, maybe you could go check that out, along with a few other videos on this channel. Yeah, seriously, we got some good view counts for this and Red Ranger Isekai, so I would appreciate if y'all could keep up those numbers, even though I know that's not really gonna happen, but oh well. Still, do look forward to Red Ranger tomorrow, and until then though, farewell for now my friends, and if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go complain about these prices.